Hey, everybody, I'm here with Michael Wood, police officer from Baltimore, and got a friend of the show. Next to him is the miserable liberal, Steph Zamorano. Also, you can't see him, but you can hear him. Ron Placone is here. Hi, Ron.
Howdy, howdy.
All right, so guess what? You know how I said, you know how it's a truism that whatever Trump has said publicly, there's a tweet of him saying the exact opposite, right? So we know that, right? So Trump did this yesterday. He pushes the... So now is that the president of Montenegro or are they prime ministers? I don't know what their exact title is. We'll Google it.
Emperor.
And maybe he's the emperor. So watch this. This is great. Watch Trump do this. Get the fuck out of there, my way. I'm Mussolini. Watch. Get out of here. Get the fuck. And then he does the Mussolini pose.
What the?
Get the fuck. Look, watch how everybody reacts to it too. He must have said something because the guy's wife, her head spins when he hits him. He must have said, get out of here. Right? So there's Trump doing that. And so everybody's making fun of him for that, right? Everybody's like, it's so embarrassing. I miss Obama. Oh, my God. Here's another truism. Everything that Trump has said in public, there's a tweet of him saying the opposite. Everything Trump has done in public, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, or Obama has done worse. It's just a fact. How do I know this? Well, he shoved the prime minister of Montenegro. Clinton bombed the country of Montenegro. Yeah, but I'm sure it was super cool. I mean, I'm sure the UN was for it, and he was it was one of those bombs that doesn't kill people. It builds hospitals when it explodes, and books fly out, and it hugs people. 15 years on, looking back at NATO's humanitarian bombing of Yugoslavia. Codenamed Operation Allied Force, it was the largest attack ever undertaken by the alliance. It was also the first time that NATO used military force. This is important. It's in red. It's the first time NATO used military force without the approval of the UN Security Council. And against a sovereign nation that did not pose a threat to any member of the alliance. Holy shit, huh, Michael?
They would have been going crazy if Trump did that.
Can you imagine?
That's what we're talking about with everything, though, right? I mean, this is the system, and they keep putting us news media, and they keep telling us all these things that are just factually not true, even making fun of him for that. I'm sorry, it was a power move. I mean, it was.
Total power move.
Total power move.
Get that.
And if Obama would have done that, people would have laughed, and everybody that's a fan of Trump, they laughed at, and I'm going to fathom to say every bit of slightly alpha male saw that. Even I did. I saw that, and I was like, oh, man.
Let me say this, Michael. It is funny and embarrassing at the same time. I kind of like it, and I kind of hate it at the same time. Right? But it certainly isn't fucking bombing Montenegro.
No, it's
which
not.
I just hated, 100%. There was no thing I liked about it.
Friendly face on fascism is what we fight for. We fight to let Eric Holder be the one that imprisons all the black males, not to be Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions can say it, but he's still not actually doing it, which is a huge difference. What I see is friendly fascism actually does the dirt and makes it look pretty, but then this obvious fascism that's in our faces is so much in our faces that it talks fascism, but it actually can't achieve the fascism.
Right.
I think they have achieved it.
Well, it's been achieved, right? It's already in place, right?
We live in, as Chris Hedges says, we live in an inverted totalitarianism, and we've had a corporate coup d'etat in our country, and it's complete. And we now live in a surveillance state where they have every email, every phone call, and every text, and he said that that's not freedom. That is the relationship that a master has with his slave. And that's what we are. So back to this. So they did. That's great. We want a friendly face. That's what I said about Barack Obama. I said it would be a good thing in a sense that Trump is our president because now he puts an ugly face on all the horrible, ugly shit we do.
The hoods are off is what I always say. And if you look at that picture of the last KKK or racist rally that they had around that Confederate monument where they all were standing around with torches, what was the one difference between now and 1960? Hoods were off. Only difference.
So there's more to this article. NATO demonstrated in 1999 that it can do whatever it wants under the guise of humanitarian intervention. Wow. War on terror or a preventative war. That's what we do now. We can do whatever we want. Hey, we think that Iraq is a threat to us. We're going to invade them first. That's called a war of aggression. That is a fucking war crime. You can't do that. We did it.
No, Jimmy, that's just the first strike doctrine.
Ha! Yeah. So let me read this one to you one more time. NATO demonstrated in 1999 that it can do whatever it wants under the guise of humanitarian intervention, war on terror, or preventative war, something that everyone has witnessed in subsequent years in different parts of the globe. Meaning everyone has witnessed the United States and NATO doing whatever the fuck they want to do, bomb whoever they want, anywhere they want, at any given time, any place in the world, and everyone in the world has witnessed this. We bombed so much we ran out of bombs. Imagine if Trump ran out of bombs, but the nice face of fascism, Barack Obama, nobody got upset because he's not impolite in public. He's really nice. He says nice things, and he stands there real nicely. He won't be rude. He won't swear.
I think we're about 10 years away from preventative war. We're going to be like, you know what? We're going to bomb you because we think at some point we might be inclined that there might be a conflict with you. So we're going to be preemptive.
We think you might preempt us. We think you think we're going to bomb you, and you're going to bomb us first. So we're going to bomb you first because you think we're...
No givesies backsies.
A little more of this article. 19 NATO member states participated to some degree in the military campaign against the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbia, and Montenegro. How long did it last? It lasted for 11 weeks in 1999. In the course of the campaign, and this is when it gets real interesting, NATO launched 2,300 frickin' missiles at 990 targets and dropped 14,000 frickin' bombs. Oh, my God. Including depleted uranium-tipped bombs. Oh, my God. We're using chemical weapons. We know what happens with depleted uranium-tipped. They cause birth defects.
And it's a war crime.
And it's a war crime. And cluster munitions. Oh, Jesus. Cluster bombs are considered a war crime by the rest of the world, except us. Why? Because we make them. We manufacture cluster bombs in the United States. Sam Harris would tell you we're better people than whoever we're dropping cluster bombs on. The people who we're dropping cluster bombs on are bad people because of their religion. That's what Sam Harris, and we're better. That's why we make war crime weapons in our Christian manufacturing, what are they called? Factories. We make Christian bombs. In Christian factories.
And sell them to Muslims.
And we sell them
of other Muslims. We just sold cluster bombs
100 billion
to
of
Saudi
it.
Arabia.
Yeah, we just sold them to other Muslims to drop on other Muslims.
I'm going to drop them tomorrow on Yemen, for sure.
Because we're a better country. We're better culture, right? That we, even though we set the whole goddamn Mideast on fire, we killed hundreds of thousands of people in Iraq on a lie that everyone knew was a fucking lie. We did the same thing in Libya. We're doing the same thing in Syria. And it's all about the petrodollar, baby. It got nothing to do with morality. It's because we're fucking killing people for money like we always have done. Barack Obama killed people for money. Bill Clinton killed people for money. Hillary Clinton had people killed for money in Libya. Do you see her laughing about killing Muammar Gaddafi? Laughing about doing the same thing we did in Iraq, killing people in Libya and turning it into a failed state and a haven for terrorists. That's what we did. But we're better culture than the people we keep killing. You see all the Arab states that keep bombing us? No, me neither. But we are bombing the shit out of them, baby. But we're better culture. We're much better culture. We're much better culture. Look at what we're doing to a country that wasn't a threat to anybody in NATO. We bombed the shit out of them. In what the alliance described as collateral damage, its airstrikes destroyed more than 300 schools. Oh, so we're blowing up schools. If ISIS does that, that's a reason why we should bomb them.
Boy.
If Assad does that, that's a reason why we should bomb them.
What term? Collateral
damage.
You know, you're not talking about complete destruction or annihilation.
Right.
It's just a little damage.
It's accidental. Its airstrikes destroyed more than 300 schools, libraries, and over 20 frickin' hospitals. We bombed 20 hospitals.
Oh, that can't be true.
We bombed 20 hospitals. Do you get it? Do you get why we're not the good guy? Hey, how many pictures of dead babies did the news in America show that we killed? How many of those people? Then 300 hospitals, libraries, and 20. How many of those dead babies did they show on the news? They didn't show any. Why? Because they wanted us to keep bombing. Because the news media in America is a lapdog to power, will beat the drum for war like they always have. New York Times printed fucking direct lies from Dick Cheney's lips on the front page of the Washington Post above the fold. Washington Post did the same goddamn thing, getting us to go into a war in Iraq, telling us there's definitely we got to do this. Those are your papers of note. They are shit rags because they beat the drum for war every time. And they'll never show you what we're doing here. But they will show you that thing about Trump pushing Montenegro guy out of the way. Because that's horrible. But using depleted uranium and bombing 20 hospitals and 300 schools and libraries, it's just what we do, baby. That doesn't make us bad. We're white, we're rich, and we're Christian. There's a little bit more to this. At least 40,000 homes were either completely eliminated. 40,000 homes. And about 90 historic or architectural monuments were ruined. Ready for this? Rights organization Amnesty International accused the Allied forces of committing war crimes. So now they should be allowed to bomb us, right? Because we're supposed to be allowed to bomb Assad if he does a war crime on his people. But if we do war crime on other people, aren't they allowed to bomb us now? Shouldn't they be allowed to bomb St. Louis? Shouldn't they be allowed to bomb Cleveland? Should they be allowed to bomb Sacramento and San Francisco and Minneapolis? Why can't they bomb those cities? If we commit a war crime, that's what you're supposed to do, right? I mean, that's what we do. Except that's a lie. It's all bullshit. We're not bombing Assad because he did anything. We're bombing Assad because we want to put a pipeline through his fucking country because of the petrodollar. And that's another thing your news media will never tell you in America. The Washington Post will never tell you that. The New York Times will never tell you that. The MSNBC will certainly never fucking tell you that. And neither will CNN.
That is absolutely amazing that people don't know that the main reason is behind the petrodollar. We have to understand what the petrodollar allows you to do is it now allows our Fed to print money.
Yep.
And when you print that money and it goes into our systems, what that would normally do is deplete the value of our money because you flooded it with
right.
a surplus of supply. But when you use the petrodollar, then gas is exchanged. All the barrels of oil are exchanged with U.S. currency.
Yep.
So then that U.S. currency goes into other countries. And when it's in those other countries, it does not cycle back into our economy. And that allows us to print money at will, which could create an entire bubble if the petrodollar collapsed. Our dollar completely collapsed because its value is completely fake.
And that's what this is. That's why we keep doing this stuff. That what Michael just explained to you will never be explained on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, the New York Times. If they do explain it, it'll be on page 30. And they'll explain it in an incorrect way.
But they will expose war criminals. And by expose war criminals, I mean take nice pictures with them because they started a nice book career after their crimes were over.
Yeah, you mean George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Indications are that NATO did not always meet its legal obligations in selecting targets and in choosing means and methods of attack. On the basis of available evidence, including NATO's own statements and accounts of specific incidents, Amnesty International believes that, whatever their intentions, NATO forces did commit serious violations of law of war, leading in a number of cases to the unlawful killing of civilians. The rights watchdog said in a report published in June 2000. So there's like, what happens when you drop a bomb on, that's their house, that's someone's house. That's what we did. That's what we did because we're the good guys. This is what we do. This is how we solve problems. You have a problem? We'll burn some person's house down with a bomb. That is so much nicer than pushing the guy out of the way, right? This is what Christians do. This is how Christians help people. See, that lady's happy now because we helped her. And you'll never hear a peep of this on CNN, MSNBC. You'll never understand that we are fucking war criminals from the moment we get up in the morning to the moment we go to bed at night. And pretending that anybody else is worse than us is a self-delusion of the highest order. Talk about narcissism. But Sam Harris will tell you we're better than other countries, other cultures, because he's a narcissistic fucking maniac, and he's wrong no matter how softly you say it. No matter how softly you say it, he's wrong 1,000%. And the proof is he's too big of a pussy to ever come on my show. But here we are. We're great Americans. Trump's bad. We're great. Whatever Trump has done, Clinton, Obama has done fucking worse because they've had actual power. And they have had people killed. Thousands of people killed. Dropped bombs on thousands of people. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. They've killed thousands and numerous, uncountable people they've killed. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that they had people killed. Now who's being naive, Kay? The next live Jimmy Dore show is June 19th in Burbank, California, and July 15th in San Francisco at the Great Star Theater. For all links for all tickets to those shows and our full schedule right there, there's a link to jimmydorecomedy.com. We'll see you at those live shows.